And good morning to you here live on. Let me just. And good morning to you here. Just checking stuff. Okay, let me just. I started 67 seconds ago. Where are the comments? Okay, I'm just getting myself all set up this morning. There we go. Mandy, you're first up today. And let me just get myself orientated here. So I haven't done a Zoom in a while. And I'm currently designing next year's stitch along. And I am in process. So I was up until after midnight last night. So what I've been doing is I've been going through my design. And so at nighttime, I just hand draw what I'm doing. And then in the mornings, I've been just going through and doing my notes. So I've already had this already recorded. So I'm recording the next several rounds. And I'm doing something different that I never did before. Is that I did, um, I'm writing actually notes on the screen itself so that I have it, because this design will not actually be crocheted in the real sample until the spring, when we know what yarns are available for next summer. So this is just giving me an opportunity to be able to work ahead, so I don't go into a complete meltdown and a panic mode by spring. So yeah, so if you're here with us today, you can join the party. Mandy's already started the conversations going on here at this moment, and thank you so much for taking the opportunity to join me live here this morning. And let me just jump screens. So I'm going to be just working on the other screen, and you can chime in and have some conversation, do all of that jazz. And we're just going to be jumping over. I would do that again. Oh, just, I haven't used Zoom in a while. Um, it was going to do that. Okay. Okay, so I'm currently working over on here. And so I'll be able to see what you're saying to me, and I will be glancing over as I'm doing it. So I had a bit of an issue with this design as I worked my way to be able to do stuff like this. So um, I think we're might be only a membership chat at this time. So I guess it's just members joining us today. And I don't know if I intended to do that, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if my setting is set weird to only see membership conversation, which is fine, honestly. You kind of keep me activated. Let me see. Live chat, all messages are available. Okay. Yep. Okay, so we'll do live chat. So I think it might be only membership today. So you can tell the members have the oh no. Yeah, Happy Jackie's not a member. So that's good. So it's open to everybody today. So you can tell the members they have a icon that is beside their name. In the case of the three that are on top, they have the seed has sprouted. So you can tell that they're members. So Mandy, Jane, and Mandy twice. So anyway, so on screen is a design that I'm working on. So one thing that I'm doing is that I'm writing myself some notes. So I haven't actually written the design in pattern format yet. But I had an issue with round number 14 to 15. I had to put a green line in because I had to change the number of stitches in order to make it work. So I was kind of working my way through that. So I'm leaving myself some clues. So this is where all of the starts and stops will be. So this is the red represents the new row and or the new round. And so we're going to begin. So last night I did several more rounds and we'll be working my way through that as well. So this is not technically the final design, but it is pretty it's pretty close to what I'm thinking about. So, and if not, it could be another time. I could make this into a snowflake for all I know. Yeah. So what I'm going to do before I go any further is that I'm just going to sit back, and if you want to chit chat with me, you can. I'm just going to go get more yarn because I'm actually running out of yarn, and I will be right back in 2 seconds. So I always design um, with Karen cotton cakes. So there was a wicked sale on this, I think 2 years ago. So I bought like a cart full. And the reason why I like designing with it is that I can frog it a million times and it still looks okay. So Happy Jacks has a question. So we'll entertain some questions today as well, because it is a live chat. Um, and I will sit back. I just want to finish my round and then I'll record that on here. And yeah. So why don't I just stop the share of there, we'll go to a full picture. Okay, so there we go. So I've been using a lot more trebles than I normally would use. What is it going to be? Uh, um, wait, what is it going to be when I came in late? So I'm just currently working on a design. Will this be a round Afghan? I think so. I think that's my plan right now. I know people get upset when I do round, but they also get upset when I do squares or rectangles. So I think people just are upset. Yeah. So, how do you know how much yarn to buy? How do you know how much yarn? How do you know how much yarn to buy? Well, you buy it all and then hopefully you have enough. But for myself, because I'm just designing with Karen Cotton Cakes, I'm going to get a rough idea by the end of it on how many yards that it will take. And then I have to determine how many colors I want to do. But really, the ultimate decision is up to Yarn Inspirations and what yarn I use and how it impacts the gauge on that. And so unless I do a real sample, I won't really know that. So I'm just doing a basic design. So most of my designs here are always in Karen Cotton Cakes, and then the real sample comes later. So sometimes I showcase the Cotton Cakes version of it well ahead of time, just to show that I have something ready. Um, but yeah, so kind of working through there. So it is Friday already, and we're kind of getting our ass kicked on online a bit in the sense of Google changes its mind on the algorithms all the time, so it's impacting the creative industry a lot. So which includes us. Yeah. You buy all the yarn and then hide it from the hubby. That's damn right it is. So Mandy, you said you're coming on the cruise with us. I like that you designed is different. I like that you design in different shapes. Thank you. I try. I actually have to change the website and just probably later today, just to feature round blankets because the cookie one is done. I think a lot of people kind of struggled with the counting of that from what I saw. How long of a lead do you have time before before the design is published? How long is the lead time? It has to be submitted to Yarn Inspirations by March for it to be out in July. So I will literally work on a real sample just around the Christmas time and January. Sometimes it gets as late as February before a real sample is actually finished. Yeah. So Starred, you're joining us today. So Yarn Inspirations, it works ahead of time, so I have access to all their designs in the future. So they have designs all the way done, all the way to, I think, I want to say April of next year. So it's a long lead time, and it's because they're using yarn that you haven't seen yet. So they're working that far in advance. So the people that are actually making the patterns are using prototype yarn. So the yarn is actually not made in bulk yet, and so they have to have everything ready. So Jean Beverly has been working on the log cabin. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, sometimes it just is a breakdown of the pattern. We had a request. This lady yesterday was requesting the same pattern to be done on several videos to get my attention, but I looked at it. I'm not sure that I want to put that much work into doing the prototypes and all the background information, and then I'm gonna have to do the charting, and I'm just not sure if I'm emotionally ready for that kind of workload to do that. So yeah. So I told her that I would look into it, which I will, but chances are I probably won't do it. Just I'm not sure the design is outdated in the sense that I'd rather do a design that are liked by many instead of just a few, if that makes any sense. I gotta put my time where it counts. So the other thing with my designs, I tend to use a lot of back posts and front post double crochets and stuff, and it gets on people's nerves, but I seem to do that. Do you have a preference of a preferred yarn? I do like the value yarns, generally speaking, Cynthia. So I like affordable yarn for the most part because I crochet a lot. Breezy, I'm a beginner and I can't wait until I can have a laxy daisy crochet that is fast and not even looking at times. So I always used to stare at my crochet Breezy, and I got some advice from what was called the Yarn Lady. Her name was Phyllis, and she's dead now, but actually she's on our channel as a really old video. And she said that the secret to looking away as you crochet is to get something that really kind of captures your attention and forces you to look up more than you normally would. And you'll find that your hands are doing it. But she said when the hook matches the yarn, it's a lot easier to do. And so my mom taught me how to crochet using a N as in Nancy crochet hook with a 4-ply worsted weight, and I could never look away. And I realized as I got older is that she did that so I could have a faster blanket, but also because the yarn didn't match the size of the hook, I could never look away because it was too loose. So your hook and your yarn size, if they're not aligned with each other, it makes it a lot harder. Do you do some sample swatches that are really pretty? I can't remember the one that is my favorite, but if I wanted to make a whole blanket with a certain stitch, how do you figure out how much yarn? Um, Happy, that is a great question. I really honestly don't know that answer. I wish that I did. The only way that you could do it is maybe do a swatch that is 12 inches by 12 inches, so a foot by a foot, and then just measure the weight of that yarn that was used in that particular sample. Then you'll be able to say, okay, well, if you needed a 6-foot blanket wide, you would take the weight of that 1-foot swatch and then just calculate how much yardage it took to do that. So I honestly don't think people will do that. I don't even want to do that, but it's just a guess. So average blankets, happy are about in Red Heart Super Saver are about 7 to 10 balls for an average blanket. Throw size is about 7. 10 is depending on this the texture, right? So that's kind of oops, so I'm all the way back around. So we're going to be jumping screens in just a moment. So one thing that I do for yarn inspirations and that I love doing is providing them the crochet diagrams. So they have a designer on hand that does all of that, but it doesn't act, they don't actually work for yarn. Well, I think one works for yarn inspirations. The other one is the contractor. And so by me doing it myself, I just find the joy. And I used to be a car designer um, many years ago. So the crochet diagrams just make sense to me. So we're going to jump screens and we're going to continue to make this pattern. So the way that they do it on the patterns is that it's just a slice because it's a repeating, but I did the first part already. So the first part was down here. And so this will be week number 1. So I did that a couple days ago. So I've been working on this section up here. So it's all about the rotation of things because it's a repeating pattern. So we just have to determine how many repeats there are and be able to work that out. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next section. So it's equivalent of 10 stitches that we have. So 10 times, so it's 240. So what I want to do is that I want to figure out 240. So I'm going to put a line up and I want it to align with this. Yeah. And we're going to move on to round number 23. And easy, I make the line a different color so I can clearly see it. Okay, so we know that, and then we need to make this guy bigger. So I'm going to be using single crochet. So we're going to grab a single crochet from our sheet here, copy, and bring it back. And every other color, so I want to make sure that this aligns properly. So I want to make sure that the angle looks the same. And so as I mentioned, I used to be a car designer with blueprints. So this to me just makes complete sense. So I added the stitch right here underneath is the Bavarian stitch. And yeah. Okay, so now obsessed with making amigurumi, jellyfish, small Celtic triangles, and ghost appliques. Well, now's the season. And Jacqueline, all the way from Ireland, is in the house. So I have 240. So I have to make sure that this aligns properly. So we're going to take this and rotate it around the access point. Zoom up. So I leave in the access point so I can always see where the rotation is going to happen. And it's 360 degrees divided by 240 points. So I just need enough of these to be able to align it properly. And puppy dog is behind the scenes here with me today. So I just got to make sure that these guys line up to each other perfectly. And so according to my notes, I want to keep the tops of the stitches. I'm gonna let the dog out. You want to go outside? Go see. Go see. Okay. Yeah, I might as well, yeah, I might be looking at advanced quantum physics, but I don't understand any of that. So each symbol represents, okay, so here's my backstory here if you've never joined me before. So I'm not a, I don't want to move that one. I'm not a smart guy. But anyway, I had a lot of issues in school and I was getting E's and F's, and I don't know if that makes any sense for anybody, but I was getting E's and F's. And um, and so my mom realized that I was more of a visual person. And so she always gave me like the kind of like the roadmaps of being able to learn. And so I end up, so this kind of stuff makes sense to me because I can see the pattern. I don't necessarily see the color of the pattern, but I can see it. And it's a way for me to visualize. So this is the only way I design. Some people design on paper and then they write their notes and stuff. But I used to be a car designer, as I kind of mentioned at the top of the broadcast. And so this to me is like car designing. It's just using different symbols than the car design was. And so what I want to do is provide a roadmap so that people that are struggling and maybe have an issue with reading words, that this might actually help them because it helps me a lot. So I'm trying to provide a resource that the public could use. And it also provides me to be able to give this to our community members that do not speak English. Because if they can't read my words, they can follow the diagram and still be successful. So it makes me kind of really global in that sense. So the reason why I didn't post these right down on top because I wanted to say 3 single crochets in the space. So if you point directly down into the middle of the stitch of chain, it indicates that you're using the chain as a stitch. So I don't want to give the illusion, especially somebody that doesn't speak English, to make it look like that I'm using the stitch work. But I'm actually using a space. So anyway, once I get the blueprint done, I will write the instructions. I'll spend a day and I'll write the instructions. And then my testing team will go through there. But YouTube membership, I'm probably going to give them early access as well and to be able to do that. So what I want to not do is that I don't want to change the distance of the tops of these stitches because they're perfectly aligned with 240 stitches. So I don't want to change the tops because that'll make my life really difficult in the future. Okay, so once we're done that, we now have our blueprint now for this round. And so I'm going to put it together as one. And so according to my notes, there's 24 repeats. So we're going to get rid of this guy. So according to my notes, this is round number 23. And where am I starting this? Okay, so I'm just going to not do that yet. So we're going to put this in a rotation around the access point so that we have it. So I haven't actually did one of these diagrams in a while. So I was struggling the other day just to get reorientated with all the buttons that I need to push. So we have 360 degrees and there's 24 repeats around. So I'm going to say it's 24 and copy it around. And the reason why I'm going all the way around is that I need to get the other side of the circle done, which is right over here. And then we're going to go back and we're going to delete the extra I just put in there. Okay, so I want to keep this one here. So I'm going to take the rest of these guys out. And now we have round number 23. And so the starting point will be right here. So I'm going to change the color of that so I remember to see that in the future. So I don't put any of like the building chains in there. One of the things that I learned in this process is that you don't worry about that stuff until the end. So this is round number 23, and there is 240 stitches. 240, and I'm going to put a note. So this is the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is the equivalent of 10. Which is, we'll save our work. So Breezy is going to take off, and thank you so much for joining me today. And so kind of working through this process. So let's go on to round number 24 next. 24, we're doing a faux crochet. So we're going to okay, so what we need to do, we're going to be putting in a faux thing. So I want to bring in two things. This and this, bring that in over. And so this is a two-step repeat, and this faux crochet, faux popcorn goes in the opposite direction. So I'm going to grab this arrow. So we're going to be changing the direction of our stitch work in this direction. And we'll end up, so we're going to say this is single, treble, single, treble. So we're going to rotate that around, get the same angle. And I want to make this one smaller. And then we're going to put this guy. right here. And make him a little bit taller. And I want to make, so normally the treble is a lot taller, but because I'm using faux popcorn, I want to match it to the size. Okay, so we're gonna put, and these guys need to be blue because it's the next row. Because that treble's smaller, I gotta put the cross lines a little bit further apart from each other. So the program that I'm using is called Adobe Illustrator. So I've drawn all the shapes in advance and it's on a master sheet. And it's not, I won't give that to anybody. So MMT is ready for the next IKEA pattern. Yeah, good luck on those. I still put furniture together and I'm like still screwing it up. So we're gonna put these guys together and we're gonna do that big rotation. So there's still only 240 points. Two hundred, oh, 360 divide, oh, the 240 divided by 2 is what? 120 divided, because there's in 2 stitches. Yeah, yeah, that's it. We're going to rotate that around. Take a look. Ah, oh, for God's sakes. It's on the wrong layer. What row am I on anyway? I'm on number 24. If I don't change this now, I'll screw myself later. So I'm able to separate the layers from each other in case I ever needed to. See. So just in case Spinrite, our yarn inspirations asked me to separate stuff out, I can do it. So we're going to move this to row number 24. Oh, what happened to that? So I'll keep my layers in order. We'll do that rotation. I haven't determined how long week number 2 is yet. So there's 360 degrees by 120 points. So I get people to email me, say, why do you waste your time on this stuff? And I'm like, because it's a resource that comes in handy, especially if you don't speak my language. Symbols are very much like hieroglyphs of a pyramid. So it's like you know how to read a different language when you know how to do this stuff. So I want to stop at a certain point here. I don't want to bleed over both sides. So that was where we here. So this will be the first one right here. We're going to go in that direction. That was row number 24. Yeah, there's 240 stitches. I'm having major deja vu right now. 240 stitches, and this is still the equivalent of 10 stitches. So these notes right here will not be part of the what people will see when they get it. Are you working on a new pattern to be released? I just logged on. Yes, I am. It's probably for next summer. And how many rows is this? This is 14 or 15 all the way to 24. So it's only 24 rows. So stitch along. No, it's got to be bigger than that. Okay. So let me zoom in. Okay, so the next round is 25 and it's just double crochets. And there's double crochet and and my notes say it's 11 double crochet and then 2 into the next. I'm just going to roughly put it in a position where I want it to be. It's roughly right there. So I lock the grid lines when I'm not doing anything with them so I don't ever lose my orientation. So this round here, we're going to jump to Okay, so there's 12 repeats and it's going to jump to 260 stitches. So let's do it. So there's 360 degrees divided by 260 stitches. Command-D. I don't need to do too many of them. Just okay. So you see that the bottoms of the stitches. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so the 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving the bottoms first. So I just want to move the pointing at the bottom. So when you add extra stitches in like this, they can't just be straight out like the other ones because there's more stitches to squeeze in. But it works out. So the stitches will start leaning more and more until the repeat happens. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So these two have got to be put together. I'm gonna change the color so I see it. So the key factor is not to change the top locations, just the bottoms. So Jennifer is joining us today. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Nice to see you. Just working on a future design, Jennifer. So I think most of my crochet testers, if not all of them, know how to read crochet diagrams. So when I'm making mistakes in the written words, they can check my diagram and tell me where I'm going wrong. These guys share the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 2. Oh, for God's sakes, I put it on the wrong way again. Okay, so we're going to get rid of these extra guys out. I'm just going to put these guys together as one. So we'll change the color back. Group that. And this is around number 25. Okay, we're going to rotate this. So now there's 12 points. So let's do the rotation. It's 360 degrees divided by 12 points. Oh, it's not 12. Shit, what happened? It's not 12. What is it then? It's missing something. Oh, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. It's not the right multiple. I think I found a mistake. Damn. One, two, three, five, six. One, two, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 10. Oh, there's 20 repeats. I guess my notes were wrong. What's the code to join? There is no code. And Wendy is joining us today. Wendy's our assistant here in the crowd. That's why her. She's got a blue writing and the wrench. And Wendy, I'm working on that design that I showed you. 360 degrees divided by 20 repeats. There you go. Okay, so let's make my notes. First stitch is right there. There is now how many stitches? 260 stitches. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to take a copy of this. So we want to hide. Unlock the guides. We're going to take a copy of that. Over here. This will be week number 2. Start making. Sorry, I'm going to need a bigger canvas to work with, so we'll make it bigger. Okay. And then we're going to continue on. So this is round number 25. We're going to take some information with us. So we're going to create week 3. Lock the row 9. We're going to make and we're going to relock the guides. And we're going to make these guys gray. Gray represents is that you've already done the row below. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, moving on to round number 26, round 26. Round 26 is double crochet again. And 26 is right around there somewhere. And 26, we're not going to do any increases at all. We're just going to do maybe four of these. What's that? There's something there in the axis that I can see. Oh, it's in the grid line. Okay, it's fine. Okay. And so there is 260 points. So we're just going to make that happen. 360 degrees divided by 260 points. That's all I need. And what color was this? Should be blue. Okay, so 260 divided by 2 is what? 260 divided by 2, 130. Is divided by 30 pieces of that. D. It's on the wrong out there. 30. Okay, copy. Okay, so because it's a new diagram, a new section, I am not going to keep as much. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Be the first one. And it's still 260 on 26. So Jess is making it. I use Adobe to create quilting patterns for part of my day job. So this is intriguing. Yeah, it's a good roadmap to find out when you're going wrong. I use it for more stitch counts than anything. Okay, next row is 12 and 2. 27. Single crochet again. This guy is almost straight up. I'm going to use him instead. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I can use him. So I have a much easier time understanding the charts than written patterns. I'm the same way. That's why I do this stuff. I need to visually see it. Okay, so we know that there's going to be an increase here, so we're going to go to 280 stitches. So we need to do the division off of that. Okay, so 360 degrees divided by 280 stitches. And according to my notes, it was 12 and 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So then these two are together at 1. And then we won't worry about these guys. So Single is joining us today. Nice to see you again. So I think these guys are a little too high. Bring them back down. I'm gonna get rid of them and try again. I can't just move them down because then the angle's wrong. So we'll try again. Okay, so 360 degrees divided by 280 stitches. Copy. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 2 more. So these guys are going to be your, to verify that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 2. Yeah. And let's change the bottoms again. So just making it says I use a chart of any written patterns, both crochet and knit. Give me a chart and schematic and we're off. I'm totally the same way. When I started doing work for Red Heart back in 2012, I didn't know how to read pattern, only a crochet diagram. So they had me do a test to teach, and they never provided the diagram. I'm like, where's the diagram? It says, well, we don't provide that. So one of the major reasons why I switched over from Red Heart to Yarn Inspirations is that Yarn Inspirations has a design team where Red Heart was all contractors. And so their design team was still doing crochet charts where Red Heart was not requiring that from the designer. So I had a lady yesterday. She wants a pattern filmed up, but it's an old Red Heart pattern and there's no crochet diagram, and I just don't want to do it because I can't visualize it. Because it's complicated. But this kind of thing that I'm doing right now is not a requirement for designers to provide. I just do it for my own sanity. So the bird in the background, it sounds like a siren, is actually a cardinal. Sounds like a Star Wars. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, so I think I got that. Let's test it. Okay, so we're gonna, there's still 20 points of the circle. So the bigger the circle, the more points there will be. So it started off with 12 and then it turned to 15 and then it turned to 24. Now it's at 20. So you need more and more points to make things happen. But the 20 is now in segments. But I'm going to be turning this pattern as soon as I get my notes done. I'm going to be doing more fun work with this stuff too. So it's 20 points. So that's the right answer. Get rid of this guy too. Out. Ungroup. I think I'm going to leave that last one in. No, not. Okay. Let's leave some notes here for myself. So I won't actually probably do a lot of this stuff until spring. So I want to make sure I get my notes in now before I forget it, because I will forget it. So it's 12. Two single crochet. Oh shit. Oh no. I just screwed that whole thing up. The start is right here. So my starting point I have in the wrong spot from the last one, and it will screw people up if they don't change color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These two come together. Just gotta lock in the layers beforehand. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These two have to come together. Those are out. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These two are together. So The stitch counter on row 37 is off. Can I add stitches to make it correct to go back? Yes. Yeah, just add it to just put in some increases somewhere if that's happening with you. It's always easier to do that than it is to kind of take it out. So this is going to be my group these guys together and let's try again. Twenty points. Done. And therefore, this is the start right there. It's around 27. And now there's 280 stitches. Off topic, is there a way to use join as you go instead of sewing the seam in a garment? Yes. Yeah, you just got to play with that idea and you have to decide which stitches you want to use for joining as you go. If you are going to join as you go, you just got to make sure you're consistent with how you're putting them together. So if your one thing is always on top, you got to make sure the next item is the same thing so that it doesn't look like it's jumping around in layers. But it is possible, yes. You just got to be consistent. Okay. Okay, round number 28. Is single crochet rows. We'll make a blue. And there's no stitch increase for this one. And there's 280 stitches. (360 degrees) divided by 280 single crochet, and we'll copy that around. So this round allows us to get our stitches from sliding sideways like it was. And so every few rounds you can able to do that. By copying it all the way around, you make it when you come back and when it comes back around, if it doesn't line up when it comes back around, something's wrong. So that's why I do that. That was round number 28. Eight. And there's still only 280 stitches. Okay, round number. Ah, shit, that's the wrong stitch. Okay, that was the wrong stitch. It should have been double crochet. So it's 360 degrees divided by 280 double crochet. I wonder if this thing could actually copy in the other direction, a negative. I'll have to Google that later. Okay, so now what are we gonna do? Okay, round number 29 is as far as I got last night. So 29 is going to be the same thing. So round number 29 is going to be a back post double crochet. Just grab one so I don't get confused. I'll grab the other one. I'm just trying to make the shapes pretty close to the same size. The So somebody might be thinking of drafts. I've never heard of that. I used to use when I was a car designer, I used to use AutoCAD. This reminds me a lot of it, but it's um obviously the technology's changed since the 90s, but okay, so 280 280 divided by 2 is 140. Oh my God. 140. Okay, so this is as far as I got, not my design. Oh shit. It's a row number 29. No, 28. 29. Yep. I really got to watch those layers, make sure that I don't mix them. Three hundred 65 by 140. We do a dinner party every Friday with our friends. And so Daniel and Maureen, Karen, and Jen are talking about tonight's menu. And it's Daniel's turn to cook tonight. So he's asking them to do some of the side dishes. So he's doing a haddock tonight. I don't eat fish, but I'll have like chicken or something. It's the third round. Okay, so it's the third round um, without an increase, and it's because there it's because in round number 27 is that it has more stitches than it should because I increased a little early. And so because of that, it leaves this so that it doesn't have to have um, that that increase yet. It will need on the next round though, for sure. But that's a great question because you never know. I don't know. Did I show you the sample? Yeah, I showed it at the beginning of the broadcast, but I will show you again because this is it that I have written down. Just get rid of this extra stitches out. So the other problem that I have, which is more my own problem, is that I design a lot on my lap. And then when I go to put it down on something flat, I realize it's not flat anymore. So it's one of those ones I have to keep reminding myself to lay it flat to make sure it's still laying flat. Still only 280 stitches. So I got to determine where I'm going from here. Save the work. I just got to get some paper. So yours truly, me, ran out of paper. So I'm using cardstock. Okay. I'm gonna print what I just made. So I have to get my butt over to Staples. I have my new design. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to take a humanitarian break. And thank you so much for joining us. I know it wasn't that exciting, but kind of working on to the future. And we're going to get some stuff done. And that's it for now.